All right, good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday, April 4th. It's currently 9:13 a.m. We're about 17 minutes away from open. I'm going to quickly make my pre-market plan, send it out to the Discord, and we're going to trade off the pre-market plan to make some money today. So I'm going to start on a 4-hour, see if I see anything good in here. Obviously, we touched this demand in here. Came back to this key level in here. No demand. It's just a little too big for me on ES right here. So I'm just going to keep this key level. This area of interest, I'm going to take out. And also this one. I don't want to clutter my screen too much. And we're going to drop down to a 3-hour, a 2, nice 1 hour. I'm going to take this off too. This was a previous supply. I'm going to make this a nice little 1 hour demand in here. Okay, so for the plan, 5,300 has been a very big key area for ES, as you can see. Support, try to support the whole way. Resistance, broke through it, supported all day in here. Broke through it again, tried, failed. A big drop off of the 5,300 fail. So we're going to try to long if it comes back down and holds as support. And if we get underneath it, we're going to try to short to this first area in here, but mainly into demand in here. Seeing what buyers are going to do in here. If they fall, we will take it lower. If they show buying pressure, we will reverse it back up and take another position long to then try again to get into this area and then back over to 5,300. Okay, so for NQ, same thing. I'm going to update it here. We had a nice 30-minute supply in here. We then held it again, which once was resistance, should then deem support. So I'm going to keep this level instead of keeping it as a 30-minute supply, which it once was before this rally up. I'm going to make it a key area now. I'm going to take off this supply in here, and I'm going to make this a demand zone. And I'm going to look for the best possible candle here. So I do like the 1 hour, even though the 2-hour looks a little bit better, but the 1 hour is a bit bigger. I prefer a bigger zone over 20 on NQ. That is still very small. So we're going to take the 1 hour into account here. Again, a lot of volume through this area. So I'm going to be looking at this. I'll take 18,500 just because it's a psychological number as an area of interest. So we're a bit farther from 18,500. So I'm going to wait if I trade NQ. It has been the weaker indice this past couple of weeks compared to ES, even though it's a bit stronger today as we speak. I'm going to look to either shorten this supply, or if I see good confluence with something in this area with ES holding and nice support levels over pre-market, I will look to take it long. But if I'm looking for long, I really want to get to this 18,500 again, show some bearish sentiment, and then show buyers stepping over here, and then come and take it to supply. If we break this area, I'm going to look to take it to the first 1 hour, and then the key area again, to then either bounce or possibly fall through to this trend line that we have going on in here. And then these areas in here, these areas of interest I have marked out. Now there is not much pre-market because we had a big news day. So I'm going to see what happens in the next 9 minutes if we make a higher low, lower high, whatever it is in here, in a 5-minute or 1-minute chart. These are obviously all lower. These are all lower probabilities anywhere in here. The real edge lays at 18,500, demand, supply above, and this key area underneath. I mark everything out with time zones and everything for my traders, just so there's no confusion what kind of supply zone this is. It's obviously a 4-hour, 1 hour, key area, 3-hour. All my zones get updated every day for my traders. So they understand how to make the supply and demand zones. They don't just follow me blindly. Okay, pre-market plan is set. All the traders are set. They all have the plan. We're about 5 minutes away from open, so we're just going to chill here and wait, watch price. I also have this other screen in here. This shows me obviously ES, Apple, Meta, Google, Tesla, Nvidia, Amazon, the top weighted stocks in ES and NQ. And then also underneath my face over here, I have VX, which takes a big toll on ES and NQ. VX rises, the pressure is greater on NQ and ES. So I'm looking for basic support and resistance levels of VX to then see if there's going to be added pressure. Maybe if we're in a supply zone in ES and VX starts to rise, that is a key area for a possible reversal in the market and vice versa. If VX breaks support and it starts to head lower, the chances of ES falling or a dip getting bought up are greater, especially when ES is on a leg up or NQ is on a leg up around 1% or over 1%. VX starts to mean a lot more, a bigger reversal in the market. As you can see, we're sitting at 14.66 right above my head over here, right here. A key area for me for the past couple of days was 14.8. That was a big support. Every time we bounced off of there, we saw a dip in the market. Now being underneath this, we want to see it stay under 14.8. If it starts to rise above and gets to 15, there's probably going to be a small reversal in the market, especially if ES is in a supply zone. We're going to see some weakness in there, and we're going to start to see a reversal downwards. Adding these little confluences along with, for example, NVIDIA under 900, which is a big key area for me also, Apple falling. These are key confluences that will make your probability of your trade greater if you are shorting, and obviously less if you're longing in the market, and vice versa. If NVIDIA starts to spike, holds 908, which is another key area for me, VX coming down, ES is going to start to leg up, and so is NQ. All I do is make my pre-market plan. I look for the confluences in the market and the equities. I make sure I'm trading in my edge, which is my plan, and then I put risk on the table, make sure my risk to reward is correct, and then we just let the trade play out. We're going to drop down to a 1 minute. I'm a 1 minute trader. Like I said, another 2 minutes till the market opens. I really don't like playing the first 5 minutes. There's just too much volatility. I like to keep a small stop loss. So that would usually just wick me out unless we have a lot of volume going in my favor. We're showing great strength, for example, breaking this or coming down into supply, then I'll take a trade. But anywhere in between, I wait for my plans to play out. That's where my edge lays. That's where your best probability is in the market. Tesla taking off here. NVIDIA trying to get to this 900 area. As you can see, NVIDIA coming down a little bit, showing that nice strength over VWAP. I believe if it starts to come up, we're going to start to get into supply over here on NQ. Not jumping the gun, obviously, especially first minute of open. I want to play it safe. We're not gambling here. We're going to check on ES over here, see what it's doing. I want to see ES hold this 5300 area. Obviously, this is a big key area. And then 5308, I had a probably previous support level in there. Very close to very close to supply in there. So we're just going to take a look at that. It doesn't mean too much, being that supply is right there. Supply means a lot more than anything else to me. I'm just noting, everybody, what I'm looking at. NVIDIA is now showing some weakness, but NQ is still, in theory, green on the 1 minute. So the indices are a little bit stronger than the equities at the moment. Everything seems to be falling down, yet NQ is holding up right now. So in theory, if it keeps on falling, NQ is going to start to show some weakness, and then vice versa. If it keeps on falling and NQ shows some strength, the equities start to show a support level, NQ is going to rocket into the supply zone. Again, still not enough edge for me to take a trade here. This is just what I'm noting, what I'm seeing. NVIDIA is starting to show some support after falling a little bit, as you can see here. And you can see the discrepancy between the whole market. Meta's up a little bit, but everything else is in total underneath the open. Yet NQ is still showing strength in here. So I believe it really wants the supply zone unless we start to see some heavy selling on the tape, not being able to break these pre-market highs in here. Again, there's no edge in here, so I'm not trading it. Everyone wants to jump the gun as soon as the alarm sounds for 9:30. Everyone wants to get into a position, but it's just chop, especially if you're looking to trade within 10-point stop loss. You're just going to get stopped every which way you go. You need to wait for a good reversal, a good support, or a good defense on the top side to then take the market either which way. Trading and chop is always going to get you stopped out, especially with a small stop loss. There's no edge in any of this. Take a look at ES in here. ES a bit weaker than NQ today. At the moment, at least. NQ really wants to supply in here, like I said. See now exactly what I said. If you look over here, look at NVIDIA now. It found some support in there. Even though Tesla's dumping, just NVIDIA alone, along with Meta staying high, Google, whatever, we got that nice move up. NVIDIA means more than anything else at the moment for me. You can see the confluence in there. ES showing more weakness also. Everything's showing more weakness while NQ is just rising here. So I might want the supply zone before a dump. That's my theory at least. ES is showing some pretty good weakness, yet we're still over 5,300, as you can see in here. So in theory with this, shorting ES would be in theory better, but we're just going to wait it out a little bit. I want to see, we can reverse here one tick away, but I really want to see us get into supply fill a couple orders at least, get some big orders on the tape, and then start to fall in here. I'm not jumping the gun just for the fact that yes, ES is showing weakness, yet we're still over this 5,300 area. So I don't want to go in short, us hold this 5,300 with NQ especially being strong, and then reverse straight into supply, take me out in, a minute or 2 minutes. So I'm just sitting on my hands here still. We're only 8 minutes in the market. As the time goes in the market on the day, especially since we're not in a wedge or a consolidation area of previous days, you need to see more history in the market. The more history we have, the better we're going to trade, the more confluences we're going to have. Trading off a chart is just trading off of history. It's history of the previous days, months, years, whatever it is. So if we're up here and we haven't had history for a couple of days, the market's still in a funny area, especially with all these big news days coming up and us rallying 300-400 points in just 3 days, 2 days, whatever it's been. Okay, ES is getting to this 5,300 area. So is NVIDIA dumping in here, as you can see. And now NQ is doing the same thing. So I'm going to wait for a small pullback, see if ES can clear this 5,300 area, and then I'm going to take a trade. Going to wait a couple minutes, a minute or two maybe, to then long this if ES holds this 5,300 like it's looked like it's going to do, as you can see. Along with that, NQ finding this nice bid in here. Again, not going to jump the gun on the first green candle. All right, we're starting to show some more weakness in the market. Let's see if it starts to support here. If not, I'm pretty sure we're going to dump underneath here and start to get to 18,500 in here.
Order filled.
All right, I'm trying these
Order
shorts
filled.
in here on this break of this low.
Order filled.
3 cons now. I want to see a nice selling pressure to dump us in here. I don't want to consolidate. I'll cut it very early if we start to consolidate. ES still holding this 5,300 area, as you can see. I want to see a nice break of it now. Along with VX rising a tad bit over here. So far we look good. We just need NVIDIA to start to show some more weakness in here, and we'll be all right. You can see NVIDIA low, testing that. I believe that's the 9 EMA in there. Don't really pay too much attention to EMAs. I do have them on there though. See, we've been riding that the whole time, so see if we can see a nice break underneath. ES really trying out this 5,300 area. There's a lot of bids supporting it. I still believe in this, and I'm not adding my contracts to my losers. Obviously, I feel like that's a very dumb idea. Sometimes it is good, but the confluences really have to add up here. Tesla's starting to rally back again, actually going very high right now. That nice big candle in Tesla. Going to cut it here soon if we start to break. Again, some people would add over here, but if the market doesn't go in your favor, that's just going to hurt you. I'd rather add to my winners than my losers. The more we stay at an area and we knock on that door or that floor, for example on ES, the higher of a chance that it's going to break it. We've been hitting this the whole time, so I want to see a nice break now. We have this down here, which if we end up rallying after taking out this liquidity and coming back up, I'll cut my trade for break even. But I really would like to see a nice move down, at least halfway of a retracement. Again, NQ is a bit stronger, but I prefer to trade NQ at the moment than ES. NVIDIA is starting to see more weakness in here. Just don't want to see a base with this level. As you can see NVIDIA right here. All this chop is just grabbing liquidity. Again, I want to see a fall through. I don't want to see a hangout at this area. If we hang out, I believe we're going to start to rally back. There's that break I was looking for. I was just a tad bit early. Again, I don't want to see a liquidity break and then right back to the top side. I'm moving my stop to break even. NVIDIA not even showing that much weakness here, so if it starts to show, we're going to start to drop. VX still in this middle area of 14.6. I want to start to see it leg up as we go down. We're in a wedge, everything else. Tesla, I believe that's the 200 EMA. Again, I don't really follow the EMAs that much. I do have them on my screen. Touching that VWAP. Purple is always VWAP for me, so if you see anything on purple, that's always VWAP. Meta just holding this VWAP. I'd like to start to see everything break down here with the indices showing some weakness. I'm not going to let a, what was it one time, $1,200 winner go negative on me. That just doesn't make sense. If we end up passing my stop loss and then coming back down, I'll just easily re-enter. Sometimes you can re-enter at a better price, which is good. Sometimes it moves so quick that you enter at not at a smaller price or a lower price if we're going short. And kind of plays with your mind a little bit. Like you should have stuck to the original plan, but I'm not going from positive 1200 to then negative. And if it doesn't work out for me, then I'm negative $500-600, whatever it would be. So I'd rather just re-enter if anything. Like I said, I did not want to see this liquidity grab and then a move back to 5300. We might move back to 5300, test again, and then now become resistance and fall down, which I said is perfectly fine. I'll just re-enter. But if we reclaim that 5300 on ES and we start to rally, then I would then be, negative will be somewhere in here. So I'm not doing that. I'm not making a winner into a loser like that. Again, we start to show more weakness. I will easily add to my position. I can easily add on these pullbacks too. NVIDIA showing some life over here. We might have confluence with NVIDIA at 900. So we have the psychological level of 900 in NVIDIA along with VWAP at the same level. So that's two confluences right there for the market to come back to it to fill more orders. You're going to have the psychological traders who are trading 900 knowing it's a key area, and you're going to have the VWAP traders trading that level too. So that's going to be heavy volume in there if we do come back to that, and that might have confluence along with ES at 5300. So all of the confluences in the market, I try to put them together. High volume, high movement. Volatility comes with volume, and that's when we get our moves and we don't find chop like we did in here when we first entered about 4 minutes early, 5 minutes early, whatever it was. As you can see, ES, NQ. NQ is a good amount stronger here, but I do prefer the profit gains on NQ rather than ES. It does offer more money. Now, if we were to long, NQ would 100% be the better indice to long just because it's stronger. All right, I just added one more con in here. I believe if we get to this level, we're probably just going to tick up a couple points and we would hit my original stop loss anyways. So there's no point to not take any extra contract. Like I said, if I stop out, I'll just get back in. I want to see immediate weakness here, obviously, and then dump back down. But it looks like we're going to hit the stop with NVIDIA coming back around here. So adding to my cons like this, if my original stop loss was $600, I'm always looking for at least a 2.5. As we add, as it gets deeper into our profit levels, our risk to reward obviously changes, especially since I'm at break even. So my original $600 stop loss, I'm now looking for a $1,500 to $1,800 profit. If I were to add another contract, I would get to that $1,500 to $1,800 profit quicker, obviously. So as you add to your cons, if I'm looking to take this to demand, maybe I'll make, 3-4 grand in there. So my risk to reward in total would be a lot greater if I was just taking one or holding those two contracts from the beginning. So as you add to your winners, your risk to reward gets skewered in the correct way. As you add to your losers, it gets skewered in the wrong way, obviously. So your risk to reward is a lot greater. That's why I love adding to my contracts as I'm deeper in the money, as I'm deeper making money. Again, another pullback, we start to fall back down. I would easily just add another contract near my level of interest, making my risk to reward greater every time. Yes, in this, let's see if this is a little 5-minute fair value gap in here. Again, I like to take other traders. There's a lot of ICT traders, a lot of people looking at this 52.945 area, which would be 52.95 area, which we were just short of in here. Little fair value gap to either take it long or inverse it, we shall see. So a lot of volume will be printed here. As you can see, a lot of buy volume came in here. Perfect fair value gap, 50% at the 18,500. So now you have the fair value gap traders looking at the same level as almost everyone else, knowing that 18,500 is a key area. So a lot of volume will be printed here. Then we have VWAP just underneath it also. So we have 3 confluences at least that you can see in the moment that people are going to be trading in this area. Buyers are going to try to hold it, sellers are going to try to reject it, and we would see who wins. Again, if I get stopped out, zero issue, not losing $1. Just let the play out, and we'll look for another trade if this does not work out.
Stop filled.
There it is. So now we just wait for price to move around a little bit again and see what we can find. We might come back here to reload, or we might just shoot past it. We have ES testing this 5,300. Like I said, I will not take a trade until we get in there and we either see buyers support it. Once we get over, I would look to long. And if we start to see some resistance in here, I'll look to short. Same thing with NVIDIA over here. We have this 900 level with VWAP. As you can see, it really wants it. I believe it's going to test it, especially with ES coming into this 5,300 area. So as you can see, my first order, I believe, was right here. My first two orders. We would have stopped me out anyway, so me taking those 4 contracts was perfectly fine. I was adjusting the same risk, and I was looking for almost double the profits to wherever I would take my profit, or I could scale out and give myself a better chance of making money if the market doesn't fully go in my favor to my full plan. Again, testing that wedge in there, finding sellers again, and then bringing the market back down. Everyone might chase this short, but honestly, I'm looking to rather long it if ES tests the 5,300 and passes it along with NVIDIA touching that 900 area again. The only way I'm going to be looking to short is probably under VWAP at this point. If I start to see price make some good history in here, price action, and then I'll possibly take it short if ES can fail this 5,300 in here. So like I said, perfect touch of 5,300, boom, seller stepped in. I believe we're going to pass it though. If NVIDIA starts to show some strength in here. Does it suck? I was up $1,500 or $1,200 at one point, now at $5. Yeah, but that was not the plan. That would have been a risk to reward of 2, and I like at least 3, 4, even possibly 5, especially when I'm adding contracts that can easily add up to 10 risks to reward or 15. So that wasn't the plan. So we stick to plan, and that's how you stay in the market. If you cut the second you see profits, it's not going to work out in the long run for you. It might work out on this trade, but you ever cut your trades and then you see the market dump in your favor heavily or go up in your favor heavily, and you would have made 4 times the money? It's not how you stay in the market. Again, with 18,500, you see knocking on the door over here, and that big pass through, filling all those orders and getting a big rally. So that's obviously a key area. That's where people are looking. A little more volume coming in now, which is nice. NVIDIA is really looking like it's wedging very tight in here, and volume is going down. As you can see in there, volume tapering down in a nice wedge, and NVIDIA wedging along with it. Apple made a higher high and could not sustain it, which is not good for Apple. Not good for bulls in here, but that doesn't matter as much. I'm really interested on ES at 5,300 over here. This wedge is getting very tight. You can see at the bottom on my buying volume indicator. Very, very low volume in here.
Order filled.
All right, I'm trying one con there, and then we're going to add to it. I see NVIDIA touching this VWAP in here. So I want to see it reclaim with some strength. If not, we're going to take a small loss on this.
Order filled.
2 cons here. I will wait a little longer to take my third. All right, I'm putting my stop at break even just because NVIDIA has not broke that VWAP yet. Don't want to take that much of a chance. It dumps and NQ starts to dump. Again, 0 risk with this just because there's not that many confluences here yet. We're trying to get in a little early if it works. And then this is what I'm looking at in NVIDIA right here. See that 900 with that VWAP? I want to see it break hard. ES moving up, NQ legging up again. Again, not adding here is just going to screw me just because we haven't had a real move yet.
Order filled.
All right, one more con in there. If we fall, I expect to fall past this, and then my original stop loss would get hit anyways. So just putting the extra risk on one extra contract in here. Well, no risk in theory because everything's break even, but I want to see a nice push up. If it rejects it, I think we're going to reject a little bit harder to get down to here. So 3 will be my limit until we start to get up into here. And ES reclaims that 5,300. NQ is trying so hard here. I think it's going to get stuffed out. Again, trading like this, 0 risk on the table. ES cannot reclaim this 5,300 for the life of it right now. That's what's holding us back. I'll look for a better
Stop
entry.
filled.
Like I said, we took that out. Easily would have just taken out my normal stop loss. So there's no point in not taking that extra contract for the possibility of it just coming up high. The market this week has been very, very hard to trade with all these big news, and everything pre-market. All the money is made before we can basically enter or on news. VX is falling here, so I believe we're going to start to get this move up.
Order filled.
Take 2 cons here, and then we'll take a third once we go halfway up. The theory was correct. It's just the timing was off, which is normal. You can't get every minute right. Again, trying this 5,300. The longer we stay there and we don't reclaim it, the great of a chance of a dump, unfortunately, but it looks like we're going to try to reclaim it again here. Hopefully we can get a nice shoot up.
Stop filled.
ES just does not want this 5300. Alright, so instead of trying to trade this chop now, I will be waiting for a break of this or this 18500 with view up confluence in here. If we get underneath, I'll look to short it to demand. If we get above this in here, I'll take it long, or if we start to see some buying in here, I'll take it long. ES now showing some better sentiment than NQ for the long side. It's holding these wicks in here. Again, in theory, when you're right, the short stop losses do suck, but they save you for when you're wrong is the thing. You know, if I get my stop loss underneath here, we would have been fine. Yet, if I was looking long in here, instead of like, you know, for example, a stop loss in here, I was taking a stop loss over here, that would have been a very big loser. So it sucks when you're right, but when you're wrong, it does help out. Again, just banging at this door the whole time. What keeps on making me want to try this also is VX, as you can see, at 14.5. Right there. Super low, dormant. That's why I do not believe that we're falling, especially underneath this. VX was high or anything like that. Touching this many times, buyers would usually just give up and we'd drop. They'd find a better price that they'd be interested in, whether it's VWAP or demand in here. But since VX is so low, that's why I don't believe there's any big dip in here. Nice wedge on NQ in here. If you, in theory, a wedge is 50-50, but when you start to add confluences into the market, you can then add into your favor. I really want 18,500 here. Don't want to trade in this wedge. I want to see a nice liquidity sweep and then a rally back up. If that happens, that's going to create pain for whoever who longed in here. They're going to stop out here, and then we're going to rally the market up. Horrible candle on ES over there. That break and no reclaim. Yet no fall through. Usually something like that will give us a nice big red candle. I know I want to go long, but I really want to see an actual fall first. I want to see all this break in here for this right here, and then possible rally up. If we break and there's no buyers, I'll just look to take it short. But especially when you're wedging like this, trying to short over these levels can hurt you really bad if you don't time it right. NQ is actually a good amount weaker than ES. As you can see, we're holding these levels. This was the low, and now we're touching these lows in here on NQ. That might mean obviously we're weaker, but it also might mean that we really want to test this 18,500 and view up area. I want a little bit lower. I don't want to get in long here. So when the market rallies this hard, like it has been, as you can see, you're going to find chop in between those big moves. You see big move, chop in here, big move again, chop, chopping the whole time. So you might start to see a little bit chop here. You can see that 4-hour supply was golden, just 1 or 2 ticks away. But I want to see us now grab this level in here and then either go long or short if we start to see more sellers appear at 18,500. It's possible we do hold these lows, but I really think we're going to get a nice grab of liquidity in here. I hope so, at least. I know the move will be a lot more drastic if we do. This will create pain, breaking this, testing here, and then where pain is created, the other side of it is then gain, which will be the move up or even the move down, breaking everyone. I have 2 videos on pain and gain in the market, and that's where the edge lays. You know, in these zones, that's where pain and gain is made. All right, all eyes on this now. This VWAP in this 18,500 area. ES holding its own in here. See a lot of selling volume coming through to bring it that low. Not taking this trade just yet. ES has not hit VWAP yet. If we start to see more weakness, I want to get this candle back up here and then start to short in here, get these extra gains. I don't want to short at the bottom of the candle. That's just, especially for NQ, that's recipe for disaster.
Order filled. Order filled.
All right, we're in 2 cons here.
Order filled.
3rd con in here. Might have been a little too early. I should have waited for probably a small retest back down, but that's fine.
Order filled.
4 cons now. I'm calling it there. I don't think I'm going to add any more unless we start to break through here. Only thing is my stop loss is just above 18,500, which I don't like, but obviously my first area of interest is this trend line. And then I'm going to look at these highs in here. I'll probably scale 1 con out right there, and then 2, 3, and then maybe leave a runner if this trade goes in our favor over here. 5,300 really needs to be reclaimed on ES over here. This is starting to annoy me, honestly. Nvidia testing this view up, or getting close to testing this view up. Again, I want to see strength. I want to see a big push up. Nvidia over view up, and then ES over 5,300. That's going to give us a nice big spike up. The way it's looking, we're going to wedge around here. Honestly, if we don't get this reclaim.
Stop filled.
If we start to see buying pressure again, I'll immediately get back in. Literally stop me out to the tick. That's so annoying. But we'll see if we start to come down a little more. We might see this happen. And then the pop. Again, sticking to plan, I'm going to wait for a small retest here to see if buyers still step in, and then I will take it long. If not, I'll look to take it short. Very, very simple.
Order filled.
We're trying one contract just to be safe, since we're kind of catching the knife over here.
Order filled.
Get the steam going. Again, here's the scary candle with the buying wick
Order filled.
that I was just talking about. Buying volume is increasing though in the total between about an hour ago or so. So should be some more volatility spiked in here, hopefully. More volume, more volatility is a lot greater chance of our thesis being correct in total rather than just wedging like it has been the whole day. I wanted to make some more history in this zone, or leg up obviously to the next zone. But I'll be looking here. Yes, still trying this freaking 5,300. Pain. Such a pain. Again, Nvidia still dormant here. I don't think it's going to go for the gap fill, obviously. I hope not, at least. I hope we support this in here and we rally. It's getting very tight too, so. Alright, so I just told the Discord, I like how, since I'm going long right now, obviously, I like how we broke these lows. We're making high, low, high, low, high, low. We finally broke it. As soon as we broke it, we found some buyers 3 minutes later, and then we immediately rallied back to the 18,500 area.
Order filled.
Going for another in here. Moving my stop loss up now. I'm risking $305. This is pissing me off today. Now, I don't want it to get stuffed here at 5,300. I think we found some good buying volume and some good momentum. We got that nice leg down. Buyers were interested to then bring price up. So thesis is still valid for it to go up. If you can see here, VX is going down. It's at the bottom of the day at 14.5. It was at the same point this morning at about 9:30, 9:45. So it's looking pretty decent in here. We just need to see some good volume stick through here. So I'm going to unload most of my contracts right here, right before, just for the fact of it's going to break here. A lot of shorts will get squeezed out. But if it is a bull trap to get long over this, whoever does not trade supply and demand, I'll be looking to unload most in here just in case it goes all the way up, touches, and then we fall hard for a bull trap. Judging, I don't think we're going to go much higher just for the fact of this huge pre-market move. And then, well, you guessed it, the day before, huge pre-market move. And again, it's been very hard to trade this week with all the crazy news going on every single day. ES testing this 5,300 and just failing it right now in the 1 minute, but I don't think that's anything to worry about in here. Good buying pressure on it too. Selling almost equaled, which is perfectly fine. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of orders there. You got to figure also for every seller, there is a buyer. So people are loading in right there if you see selling. There's actually 3 ways. Is that selling to go short, or is that opening up buy orders for the next long position, or is that a someone who went long just unloading their contracts, just getting rid of their contracts, not really selling in the market? So along with that, you have to see other confluences in the market to then judge what that looks like. Obviously, you can use book maps or a footprint chart to see where there's a passive seller or a passive buyer. Stuff like that, those all add little confluences which give you a higher probability, better confidence in the mind to then take a trade and not exit early or take the wrong side of the trade. Perfectly fine here, like I said, with this big movement up, 5,300 knocking at the door right now. Along with that, we have confluence with this wedge of this second big break in here. Obviously, the next zone I'm going to be looking at is in here. And then obviously these 3 peaks in here, which if we hold this, that will kind of make a head and shoulders in here. On a 1 minute, it's not too, nothing too crazy to worry about, but I really do believe if we start chucking and getting some steam, we're going to end up touching the supply or getting close enough to make a double top in here. If we start to see any selling in here, I'm unloading my contracts. I'm not risking, 60 points for another 7 points or 5 points. That's just stupid to me. I do like how NQ is holding more strength than ES, obviously, in here. And I'm obviously in NQ, so we're just going to keep an eye on ES, being that we have our stop order set. Now, if NVIDIA starts to get some steam too, we'll start to really get some nice long candles in here. I don't want to just see a peak above, obviously. I want to start to see strength coming over this 5,300. Everyone's showing interest over this. Buying power is still staying high. As you can see, if you look at the bottom of the screen, it's not that much buying power yet. I mean, we still have 30 seconds in the candle, but I want to see aggressive buying added afterwards, so this is not a bull trap. Watching this market today is absolutely draining. I'm going to move my stop up. Even if we get stopped out, the thesis is still correct if we stay above this level. If I see what I saw before, just simply re-enter. Some of the days like this, when it's wedging and price doesn't move in a specific direction right away, it's just you gotta do what you gotta do. This is probably the second worst day of the year that I've seen in the market like this. And this is why I always preach to don't get scared when you see one red candle. Like if I got scared and cut my losses right there, in theory, if the market came back down, I'd be like, yes, woo, but my thesis is still correct, so there's no point to get scared over one red candle. Look how we're chucking now, ES still not even making a higher high yet in here. Not yet, at least. So, NQ is very, very strong at the moment. NVIDIA, maybe a sweep of liquidity like we just had on ES and NQ, which would be very nice, and then just a pullback to even VWAP. I believe VWAP will then bring us to 900, and that will bring NQ nice and high for me. Alright, I'm unloading one con here just for the fact of the probability of us moving much higher without a pullback is very low, just due to market conditions today. For what I'm seeing is the wedge over here, the retest of the wedge. The market has been chopping all day, and this is the only actual move we've had, so we are not sure how long it's going to last. Again, in here, same thing. ES is a slightly weaker. If ES tests this 5,300, and Q is going to come back down, and I'll be happy that I took my contracts, or one contract at that. If I start to see actual weakness in the market, I'll then cut my cons early. But there's just nothing that's telling me otherwise besides me at a $2,000 profit right now, which, don't get me wrong, is very good, but the market isn't saying to let go of my contracts just yet. One was for safety, like I said, at this wedge. That's one thing that could tell you. But my original plan is up here, which we might just fall short. Like I said, I have no problem cutting it early in here. If you want to look at the other side of the market, you can see everything's just chilling, honestly. NVIDIA is coming up a little bit, which is good. It doesn't look like that much over here, but if I were to go like this and zoom out, you can really see that we've made a nice little spike in there. If it can reclaim these highs and then push above, that would be absolutely great. But just unloaded one for precautions. Again, VX at this 14.5. It did jump to like 14.2 now, 14.52. Not really that concerning. We're just floating in an area making a barcode. As we come up, I do want to see it break 14.5 though. That would be very good. Again, it will then be easier for ES to rise. Tesla's holding the market here at almost 4%, which is great. Here, NQ is really starting to take off now. Again, which is good. I'll unload one more contract once we get just a tad bit higher. Again, as I said, that VX dropped to its low of day of 14.45, just made a new low of day. So that's what I'm really looking for. NVIDIA spiking along with that. Dumping one con.
Order filled.
Adjusting my stop loss again to break even. We're really starting to chug away over here. I should have held those cons. We're really moving, which is good. It's a good sign. As we slingshot up, I'm going to sell another con soon. I'm only holding 2 right now. We're again at that head and shoulders level, so I'm just taking caution here. Now that we're this high, I'm not taking my cons at break even. I will take my cons, over here if we start to pull back. I'm not risking, or I wouldn't be risking anything in total, but I'm not giving away $1,700 just being hard-headed. That's just stupid. Yeah, pretty big wick there. Not a fan of it, but we still have a couple more seconds, and then obviously the next candle, we'll see what goes on.
Order filled.
All right, one more con there. Let this last one ride. If we do get a pullback in here and then I start to see buying pressure, I'll just add another con or two. Most of my cons are let out in this general area, so if I get a better price in here, I'll get back in no problem. ES coming to this double top. Here you can see in here. This is going to be a big area. If we break through it, would be great. 5308 is that key area that I was talking about in the pre-market plan, and then obviously supply up there. Same thing with ES. Same thing with NQ, that supply up there. They might hit it together, which would be nice. I'd really like NQ to hit it when ES hits this 5308. That would be great, just to get out a little early, but we'll see how it goes. Again, some stuttering in here, which I do not like. Hand is on the sell button, the full exit, if we do not break above this. ES testing this double top in here. If ES fails it, even if it's just by one candle, I'm going to get out here. A lot of selling right there.
Order filled.
Even if we go out fully, I'm perfectly fine with what I just did. Maybe my average fill was in here, which was still over a 5, which is great. 2,900 on the day. I'm definitely calling it there. This market is absolutely garbage, especially today. This was one of the hardest days, which I think is good for the video, honestly. If you watch some of my short videos, you'll see that some trades happen within 10 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, where we just get that big volume, for example, like something in here. Showing a full day of just watching the wedge and then taking trades, one losing trade. I believe it was one losing trade, 2 or 3 break-even trades, and then this in here. So you don't always have to be right as long as your risk to reward is managed. You can get a good thesis and a banger like this. Like I said, I didn't have to unload in here or unload in here. I could have stuck fully to plan and still be holding right now and make a lot more money. But that is just safety. Like I said, anything over here, even if I unloaded all my contracts in there, my risk to reward would have been a 4. So I'd like to stay over a 3. And then as I unloaded more, the risk to reward was obviously greater. And I'm sitting about probably at a 5.5 or maybe even a 6.0 risk to reward. It's probably a 5.5 or somewhere in there. So perfectly happy with that. The original plan was, like I said, into here. I got out early, being that ES was at this double top. Like I said, I really wanted to exit when it was at 5308, just being that this is a key level. And then we are very close to this double top and supply in here. So again, cutting early. Do I regret it now? Sure. You can say that was way too early to cut because we have no selling candles, but I was playing defense on the fact that we had this double top in here, and then we had this top in here that we were showing some resistance as, and now you can see ES is hitting that 5308 and seeing some big selling on the tape with 0 buyers right there. And then again, NQ with that double top in there, and now we're slowly starting to fall a little bit. Now this does not mean that we're falling all the way. It could just go like this and right back up. But that was me playing safely, securing my profits on this garbage day. If it was more of a breakout day, like I said, we weren't chopping all day and this happened early in the morning, I'd have 0 issue taking it all the way up if it happened, for example, like this. 0 issue, early in the morning, high volatility. We're having some more volume in here now, but the fact that the whole day was wedge, break to the top side on this, and then break to the bottom side, it's just a mess today. So secured my profits on this absolute garbage day of trading. I can guarantee you a lot of people lost money today. I was even down red in the beginning. But like I said, I'd rather show you a trade like this or a trading day like this where it's very, very hard to trade. You could have got stopped out plenty of times and taken a lot of bad trades, rather than showing you a day where the market just moved one direction and it was very easy to trade or a very easy trade. So like I said, my last profit was right here. So we hit that double top, we failed it, and now we're trading below it. So my safety was okay. So if you like what you see, please subscribe, like the video. If you want to get my pre-market plans, like I said, I try to strictly trade off these plans or other confluences in the market that what I see. Join the Discord, link is in the bio. I make these plans and then update my intraday thoughts exactly how I was talking to you. I type it in the Discord and talk to everybody. At least 3 times out of the week, I'm on voice chat with everybody, talking exactly like this to everyone in the premium. With that being said, I'm done trading for myself for the day. I'm going to keep everybody updated in the intraday commentary for the premium Discord. Thank you for watching.